Hello, and welcome to the Envision National Youth Leadership Forum Engineering Information Session. You will find this webinar most helpful if you have already enrolled your student in the engineering program for the summer. If you have not yet enrolled your student, you are welcome to follow along, and our team will be available to answer any questions you have about the enrollment process. My name is Anthony Varlisi, and I am a program manager here at Envision. I work directly with the NYLF Engineering program and develop many aspects of the staff training, as well as manage the logistics of the 2 locations where we host our program. I'm looking forward to sharing lots of information with you, as well as answer any of your questions. First, we would like to welcome you and your student to the 2019 engineering program. We cannot wait to meet you all and begin this wonderful summer adventure. A few housekeeping items to review as we begin. The webinar platform is equipped with a dashboard to the right of your screen. If you have any questions during the webinar, please type and submit them there. We will have about 20 minutes of content followed by time for Q&A based on the questions we receive throughout the webinar. We will have someone monitoring the dashboard for questions as we go along. If a pertinent question arises, we will try and answer it right away. Otherwise, we will save all questions for the end. At the end of the webinar, there will also be a quick survey for you to let us know how helpful this was to you. Please be honest in your feedback. We use this feedback to improve future sessions. All right, so let's get to it. In today's webinar, we will cover topics that answer the most commonly asked questions we receive about the engineering program. If you have topics other than these that you would like to hear about, don't forget to use the question box to your right. Write us a note and we will be sure to follow up. We will focus our time on the following primary topics: accessing your online information, completing mandatory forms, preparing for your program, meals and housing arrangements, safety and security, important reminders, and contact information. First up, let's review how to access your online information. At this point, you should have already enrolled your scholar and been prompted to create login information for the envisionexperience.com page. In order to access your account, you will start at envisionexperience.com. At the top right corner of the homepage, you will see a login button. Once you click on that, a dialog box will appear with 2 options. If you have already enrolled and received an ID number in your confirmation email from Envision, click Enrolled Student. If you have not yet enrolled, you may click the one of the Enroll buttons to begin that process. Once you click Enrolled Student, you will then be sent to a page with text boxes to input your login credentials. Enter your email address and password for your Scholar account. If you forgot your password, you can go ahead and click Forgot Password to begin the recovery process. A question just came in about getting copies to the slides after the webinar. Yes, so this webinar is recorded and will be posted exactly where the screen is directing you to go on your student portal. Once you have logged in, you will then be taken to a Scholar-specific account page, which should include the program and session for which you are enrolled. In the top right of the page, you will click on Enrollment Forms and Info. This will load a page that lists all of the forms and information available to your Scholar. Right now, you should be seeing a screen with all of the different forms that we have available. Several items listed on this page are required for your attendance at engineering, and we have grouped them together in the section noted Required. Many have deadlines that need to be met in order for us to process the information and have it on file when your Scholar arrives on day 1. Please pay close attention to the required items and the deadlines. Let's walk through a few of these to highlight some of the most important information. In the required items section, you'll notice the medical authorization and information form. This is required for attendance to the program. You can digitally fill it out and sign this form. Please include any medications or medical concerns in the medical authorization form. Use the student information form to tell us about any allergies, dietary, or other restrictions that your student may have. The mandatory travel form is required as well. This form asks for information on how your Scholar will be arriving to the program and how they will be getting home. There are options for both airport arrival and on-site drop-off. This form is not locked to one submission. After you have filled in the form, you can always come back to make updates or changes as the date of the program gets closer. For example, you know your Scholar will be flying, but you have not yet purchased the ticket. That's okay. You can leave the specific flight information blank for now, but be sure to come back to it later so we know what time to expect your scholar at the airport. The last document under the required forms is the pre-program assignment. As part of the engineering program, scholars will be asked to complete a pre-program assignment. The feedback for understanding emerging leaders, or commonly referred to as FUEL, is the main assignment. This is a self-assessment for students to complete, as well as an opportunity for students to ask teachers and mentors for feedback on their leadership in the classroom and in the community. We then use this feedback during the program to help the students develop leadership goals and learn more about how to use the gift of feedback to build skills and future aspirations. The next section is General Information and Health. Under the General Information and Health category header, you will see one form for now. It's the Family Orientation form. This will be a presentation similar to this one, outlining some helpful information closer to the start of the program. Next, let's look at travel. So under the travel category, you'll see several forms. WorldTech Official Travel Agency is the travel agency that we work with who can assist in providing flight options to help you coordinate your scholar's trip. Yes, we do arrange for scholars airport pickup in California. The closest airport and the airport that we do pick up from is San Francisco International Airport. That was a question that came in. I will slow down because I'm getting some feedback that I'm going a little too fast. The next section is preparing for your program. Under this section, this is probably outside of the required section, the second most important section. This lists housing, registration, and travel information documentation that has specific details to the session that you're attending, such as where to check in, where to park, and where to find our staff at the airport. Next, you will find press release information in the event that you'd like to share your scholar's experience with any local media. The program leave request is a form that you will be required to fill out should you need to withdraw your student temporarily from the program. So maybe a family member or you would like to take your student out to lunch or dinner, or they're in the area to visit and want to visit some family. We would require the program leave request form to be filled out should they be returning back to the program at another time. We will have some extra copies on site if you don't fill this out ahead of time. Next, you will see a roommate request application. Sometimes scholars from the same school attend the engineering program and would like to be roomed together. If there is someone attending the conference that your scholar would like to room with, please fill out this form. Please take note that this is optional though. It does have a hard deadline for completing the request, as we need to submit rooming lists and such to our venues where we host our conferences. Finally, the last document is the planning, travel, and dress code checklist, which we will look at in the next slide. In this document, you'll see listed in detail the dress code and packing reminders. Engineering enjoys an excellent reputation in our communities as a result of the prestigious students. To ensure this is maintained, all scholars are expected to maintain a high standard of appearance. The dress code consists of program attire and casual attire. Take some time to review the dress code in detail to ensure your scholar is prepared with the proper and enough clothing. Other information you will find in this document include what your scholar may need spending money for while in the program, electronic device usage, and what to bring in your luggage. So now that we've done a quick review of the online resources, let's review. So start with the required forms section. These forms are a good place to start to let us know what dietary restrictions your scholar may have. If there is more detail to add beyond filling out the form, you can contact our admissions department so we can record any other specific accommodations. Engineering is a nut-free conference. There are several vending machines and gift shops on site at each location that offer candies with nuts. Scholars are asked not to purchase any of these items for the safety of all scholars and staff at the conference. If you have to send snacks with your scholar, please send nut-free. Given the nature of potential allergies of staff and scholars, a staff member will ask that all snacks containing or made with nut products be removed from sleeping rooms and classrooms. At all locations, meals are served cafeteria style. There is a salad bar and rotating menu. All foods will be labeled to ensure that all scholars are well informed of the ingredients and potential allergens or restricted items. We do have offsite meals during the conference when the students will go offsite to visit their particular city. Those meals are chosen by the scholar and are served from an outside provider. A typical lunch at an offsite visit or dinner may consist of options like wraps, sandwiches, salad, pizza, fruit, chips, etc. If you have any concerns or questions, please reach out to our admissions department to clarify. Their information will be given at the end of the webinar. I've had a couple of questions about the dress code, so I am going to go back a slide. So the dress code contains program attire and casual attire. Program attire is the most common attire. This includes dress shirts, blouses, solid color t-shirts are fine, polo shirts, anything dresses are okay. Tank tops, athletic wear, sweatshirts, those aren't acceptable in the day-to-day program attire. When the students may be interacting with guest speakers that we bring in or high-profile companies that come to us and interact with the students. Bottoms, dress pants, chinos, dress shorts are okay. Capri pants, skirts, dresses, leggings, athletic wear, jeans, and denim are not acceptable. And every bottom should extend past the fingertips. Footwear can be casual, comfortable walking shoes. And we do realize that it is summer, so we want students to be comfortable, but we do want to maintain, a certain level of professionalism, especially for those guest speakers and companies that come and visit us and share what their company does for us. We want the students to, kind of show off that level of professionalism. With that said, there is a decent amount of time for casual wear. In the evenings especially, students can change if they want to, but again, we don't necessarily want to disrupt the schedule. So casual includes program attire. So if the student wants to remain in those clothing, but they can put on a sweatshirt if it gets cool at night or such. Again, the dress code, we don't want you to have to go out and buy and spend a ton of extra money for the student just to come and attend, but just the best that they have. Again, so we can all look in unison and look like a conference together. So next we'll transition into reviewing the program and schedule highlights. Our engineering program is hosted at two exciting locations, University of California, Berkeley and Georgia Tech. Both have stellar reputations as learning institutions, and we have been working with both of them for several years. Both locations have dining halls that are able to accommodate a variety of meal requests, including vegetarian, vegan, and halal diets, as well as having the ability to accommodate a variety of restrictions such as gluten, dairy, eggs, shellfish, and nuts. As mentioned earlier, all of the food at both locations is clearly labeled, and should your scholar not be able to find what they're looking for or is unsure of the ingredients of a particular dish, they are more than welcome to ask the dining hall staff, or our staff are also posted in the dining hall and they can come up to an Envision staff member. All of the dormitories are secure and safe. Every student is issued a key and a room access card for their dorm building and their rooms as part of the registration and check-in process. As a reminder, the safety and security of our scholars on and off campus is our #1 priority. All scholars are led through the program and cared for in small groups by trained advisors. These staff members are experienced with students and have undergone extensive training and background checks. The majority of staff members are educators outside of the summer months, and they work year-round to provide safe and high-quality experiences for students. All scholars and staff must wear their name badges at any time they are outside of their sleeping room, and staff can conduct attendance at every group meeting and anytime they depart a location on the bus. The name badge will have emergency contact information printed on the back should they need assistance. Every evening, staff conduct a room check to ensure that all students are in their rooms for the night, and they distribute any important information for the next day's events at that time. All of our housing locations do provide linens, but if your child wants to, or a scholar wants to bring a blanket that makes them feel more comfortable, or a pillow, they're more than welcome to. I will mention that at Berkeley in California, the residence halls are not air conditioned, So, they could bring a fan. It does cool down at night, so we have the students open the windows in the evenings, but you don't need to bring your own bedding. Toiletries will need to be, you will need to provide your own toiletries, such as shampoo, deodorant, toothpaste, toothbrush, and such, as those aren't necessarily provided by the venues. Additionally, to the safety and security, attendance is taken at several times throughout the day, including meals, project groups, before, during, and after trips, and before bed. If there is a missing scholar, we do have an emergency protocol that begins to locate the student and return them to their group. All scholars are monitored all day by their assigned advisor. Outside of the advisor staff, we have a large support staff that also interacts with the scholars throughout the days and ensures that the programs are well equipped to provide the best experience possible. Emergency phone numbers, so scholars are given an overnight emergency program number to call if they need assistance overnight. If at any point scholars need to leave the room in the middle of the night, they are instructed to contact the overnight scholar experience team member to escort them wherever they need to go. So at Berkeley, the bathrooms are communal, so they are actually in the hallway. They are not tied to a particular sleeping room, so it is a shared bathroom for the students who are on that particular floor. In Georgia Tech, the residence halls are suite style, so for 3 sleeping rooms or 4 may share 1 or 2 bathrooms. So I say that because students at Berkeley don't need to call the emergency number if they do need to use the restroom, because they are going to have to leave their sleeping room to do so. But if they need to, for some reason, go off their floor, they need to give us a call so we can escort them. The buildings are very secure, but we just want to make sure we know where students are at all times. And students are only allowed to be in their sleeping rooms. At Georgia Tech, it's a non-issue. They should not be leaving their suite because they have access to their restroom and anything that they may need. Both locations do provide Wi-Fi. In the unlikely event of an incident, our staff do spring into action though. We will contact you if an incident occurs, whether it's behavioral or medical, with your child, and all incidences are recorded and reported to the program office, and you are involved and informed at every step. Our phones are managed 24/7, and like I said, every single incident is documented and follow-up occurs in coordination with our on-site staff to resolve. Towels are provided as well. I noticed that that's a question that came in. Same thing with toilet paper. Those will be provided. So what's next? First, book your travel to and from the session location if you have not already. Complete any of the forms and information sheets that I've shared that are posted on your online student portal at envisionexperience.com. Complete any pre-program assignments as well that are located there. And of course, be ready to embark in the adventure of a lifetime. So thank you for taking the time to be with us today. If you need to speak to someone about anything we talked about today, or for any other reason, please reach out to our admissions department. The contact information is listed on this slide. We'll turn our attention over to the question box to look through some questions that have been asked. And I will verbally answer as many as I can, as well as my assistant will be answering the questions as well. So some questions that came in about how many scholars are assigned to each room, sleeping room. That depends on the site. So most of our sleeping rooms are doubles. At Berkeley, there are a couple of triples, so there may be 3 students assigned to a room. Are parents allowed to escort the students to their dorm room? Yes, on arrival day and arrival day only are parents allowed in the residence hall. So when you come to register your student on arrival day, they will receive their name badge. We'll confirm that we have all of the necessary paperwork that you've completed online. They'll be given their room key, and then they can be escorted to their room to drop off their luggage. You can get them all settled in. I know I attended one of our programs when I was a student, and that was something that my mother really wanted to do and loved to do, made sure my bed was made, my clothes were hung up, and so on and so forth. So certainly we realize that that's an important part of the experience. Breakfast, lunches, and dinners are provided for the most part. There is one day for both locations where the students will go off-site. At Berkeley, they'll go to Pier 39. to explore the pier and the engineering behind it. And there's a bunch of restaurants there. They'll be there for dinner. And then in Atlanta, they'll go to Atlanta Underground, where there's restaurants and they can purchase food there. So it's only one dinner that they will be required to purchase. And so in terms of money wise, both locations don't necessarily have vending machines, and there may or may not be a convenience store located nearby. We'll have some snacks on site if they do get hungry, but when they go off site, they're more than welcome to purchase any snacks for their room or any souvenirs from the area. So that's really the only reason that they would need money, and that dinner on that offsite. On arrival day, the student, if they really need something, if you're not there, if they're flying in and they really need something, we can certainly work with our staff to potentially arrange a trip to a local Walgreens or CVS if they forget toiletries or need anything. I will not be the main point person on site. I manage both programs as well as some of our other programs here at Envision, but I'll certainly be traveling to and from the sites just to see it, say hi, stop by. But we hire a staff there will be a main point of contact, a program lead and an education lead who run our programs. This is a great question. Are laptops required? So laptops aren't required. We do provide some laptops, but if the student does have a laptop and they prefer to work with that, they're more than welcome to bring it. There is curriculum that we use that requires computers, but it does require an advanced piece of software, and we don't want you to have to go out and buy a special computer just to run this software. So we have some computers, and our laptops run at a 1-to-2 ratio. So the students will be sharing with at least one other student. But they're more than welcome to bring their own laptop or tablet or cell phone for evening time or free time if they wish to. But those things are their own responsibility, and so I just want to make that clear. We don't keep track of that. That's a great question too. What time does each session start daily? So breakfast starts around 7:45, but we realize with high school students, they can tend to be a little bit, I don't want to say, well, I guess I'll say it, like lazy, or it could take them some time to get up in the morning. So breakfast is optional. We do see that a decent amount of the high school students tend to skip breakfast, even though we encourage them to try and attend it. 7:45 is a little later than some of our other programs. But our first curriculum kickoff for every day starts at 9 a.m. The days do go late though. They do go to about 10 p.m. So we do room check at 10 p.m. at night. So it is a long day. You can turn in medical forms the day you arrive, but it is recommended that you do as much as you can online, because what we'll do is we'll pull all of that information ahead of time, and that will just speed along your registration process when you arrive to us on site. The more you do online, the quicker it will be and seamless it'll be. But if for some reason it's difficult, or you're having trouble scanning documents or uploading them, for sure bring them with you, or send them with your scholar, and we'll collect them on the first day. If you need transportation from the airport to our housing site, we do provide transportation. We have some shuttles that you're more than welcome to book, and you can give our Office of Admissions a phone call. We charge $35 each way. So on arrival day, $35 to get from the airport to site, and then on departure day, $35 to get from site to the airport. Meals are about an hour long, so we realize that they may or may not take that much time, and so meals are more personal. They'll have some time to I don't want to say roam around the campus. They'll have limits and boundaries that will be explained to them on the first day of the program. But if they want to eat quickly and maybe go back to their room and rest, as long as we know and they let a staff member know, then that's all right. The free time throughout the day, there isn't a lot. I'll say roughly it's probably about an hour collectively. But in the evenings, we try to end the curriculum between 9 and 9:30, and we give about anywhere between 30 minutes to an hour of what we call personal time. This is time where they can just hang out with their new friends that they met, contact you at home if they need to, you know, and you know, just connect with the real world, because we know that they, you know, students have a life outside of this. Family members cannot stay on site with students. Students are not required to bring formal attire like suits and ties for the engineering program. So for the Berkeley location, the question that came in, are students allowed to visit Ghirardelli Square nearby on the night that students will pay for their own dinner? Yes, so that does exist within the boundaries of the Pier 39 visit. If a family decides to stay close, how many times can the student be checked out? The student can be checked out whenever you'd like. We discourage being checked out during key curriculum time, but on arrival day, you can stop by our program office. You'll receive a program schedule, which will also be posted on the portal about a day or two prior to the program start date will be the final program schedule. Just for security reasons, and things may change. While we may have it finalized now, we posted a day before so you can view it, so you can see when the meal times are and such to check out students. All of our programs that we use technology-wise run on PCs. The address for check-in will be provided on the housing registration and travel document. Right now, it may say TBD. We're still really trying to solidify we know the location. We'll be staying at Georgia Tech. It'll be the North Ave Apartments, but we want to make sure that we provide the best address for parking, so it takes you right to the parking lot. Also posted on the online portal with all of the forms will be an arrival day map. That'll be a map of the campus, and it'll outline where registration is, where the parking lot is. There'll be a dotted line to show you where to walk from the parking lot to the registration location. So I highly encourage coming back to the student portal right before the program, just to check to see if there have been any updates to the documents. The program ends on the last day around 10 o'clock. So from 9 to 10, we will invite family members to come to site to witness like a closing ceremony of sorts. They'll get a chance to see some of the student projects that they have worked on. We'll have them set up in an auditorium so they can walk by. We'll share with the family members what the students did throughout the week, and we'll have a couple of students share their experience during that time. We'll do our best to record it for those family members that don't get a chance to, are far from the housing location. But 10 o'clock is when the program ends on the last day. Any students that are flying out will leave on a 10 a.m. shuttle that will go to the airport. So all students will leave at the same time. A campus tour is a part of our program, as well as an admissions talk. So we have worked with the admissions department for both locations to come out and speak to the students, and then our advisors will bring the students over to the campus, or they're already on the campus, but to the main parts of the campus where they'll walk around and see some different buildings and such. If you are driving to site, so if a student is driving to site, they can park their car in the parking lots. However, there is cost for parking at both locations, and that will be the responsibility of the student. They will also need to turn in their keys to our office. Just again, for security and safety reasons, we don't want students to leave in the middle of the night without us knowing about it. And so they'll need to turn in their keys. And if for some reason they need access to their car, they can let a staff member know, but they will need to arrange parking on their own. You can contact each location for their parking requirements. I'll answer a few more questions, and then if there are any more questions after that, feel free to call our admissions department at the numbers provided on the screen. For any time that we do the offsite visits, so for example, for Pier 39 at Berkeley or the Atlanta location, the question that was asked was, can a family member join? You'll need to sign out your student if you do want to interact or see them or join them for dinner. That again is for security reasons. We can't have students and parents and families interact with our other students because we haven't background checked you. While we trust that you are all outstanding citizens, we want to make sure that we control the interaction that we have with all of our students. So if you do want to bring your student to dinner or join them for dinner on any of our offsites, be sure to work with our office to fill out the proper paperwork, sign them out real quick, sign them back in. Again, it's very painless. And then you can go ahead and go about that. No notebooks or anything are really needed. We will provide a student handbook that will have all of the curriculum in it. We'll provide a pen, we'll provide a cinch bag. So it's like a string bag. So you don't need to bring a backpack if you don't want to, where you can put your bags and with your handbook and your belongings in. And we will also provide a water bottle. When you do submit a roommate request, you do not automatically become roommates. You will need to submit the request, and then you will receive, the person who you are requesting will receive the request, and that will need to be approved. So you can't just say, I want to room with somebody and be rooming with them. They need to say that they also want to be roomed with you as well. The program closes at 10 a.m. I apologize. On departure day. The San Francisco airport is fairly far from Berkeley. It dependent upon traffic, it could take anywhere between, I would say, 40 minutes to an hour and a half. So just keep that in mind when planning travel. Our first shuttle will leave the airport around 1 o'clock, 12:30. The question about, does somebody assist the student when checking in at the airport? So what we do is we ensure that all students are checked in on departure day and that they've gone through security. So we bring all of the students as a group, then we bring them to security, and then once they go back past security, our staff are not allowed to go past security. And so we hope that they have find their way, and we'll answer any questions to do the best we can to connect them with somebody should they have any questions about where their gate is located or such. The first day on arrival day, registration starts at 1. It is 1 to 5 p.m. though. From 1 to 5, if you do show up at 1 p.m. And check-in is very quick, we do have what we call scholar activities, where students will kind of merge together and do icebreakers and activities where they'll get to know their peers. 4 hours is a decent amount of time though, and so it's okay to arrive at 3 p.m. if you'd like. So your student doesn't have to necessarily wait for 4 hours, but we do have lots of activities for them to do should they arrive early. So another great question, how will the Berkeley program differ from the Georgia Tech program? They're relatively the same. The curriculum and content is all the same. The only difference is going to be the offsite location for the, kind of the out and about, the rest and relaxation visit. But then also we have like I mentioned earlier, companies come and speak to the students and do a workshop. So the companies are going to be different. In Atlanta, it's going to be the Atlanta Regional Commission, and in San Francisco at Berkeley, it's going to be the San Francisco Department of Public Works. So those are different. The students do visit an aquarium or science center. So at Georgia Tech, they'll visit the Georgia Aquarium, And then in Berkeley, they'll actually go to the California Academy of Sciences that has an aquarium, but it also has some other cool features as part of that building. Both locations, though, will receive a behind-the-scenes tour of the pumps and water systems and such, because that is the core project that the students will be working on, is developing a water system for a developing country. And so they'll really get a chance to see how all of that works in a classic setting, or what you might not realize when you go on a vacation and see it and go to an aquarium and such. So on departure day, all shuttles leave at 10 a.m. On arrival day, our shuttles rotate. Because our registration ends at 5 p.m., our last shuttle will probably leave the airport around 4 or 5. If you, for some reason, can't find travel within our posted travel window, please give our Office of Admissions a call. We want to make sure that we can help assist you in the best way possible and get you to the location on time, so you don't necessarily miss anything. There are laundry facilities at both locations, but they do cost money, and sometimes we don't necessarily have access to them. And so I don't recommend relying on laundry. But should something happen, the student scholars run out of clothes, or spill something, or something gets totally dirty and they are planning on wearing something again, they'll just have to talk to a staff member. We'll do the best that we can to help them out. All right. I see there's a couple more questions coming in. 3 more minutes, so at 7:40 we'll end the webinar, and like I said, it'll be posted on the portal, so you can go back and watch it if you've missed something or joined late, or missed an answer to a question that came in. So most meals are provided on site, with the exception of that off-site meal. So all meals are in the dining hall. We do realize that students at this age are growing. They get hungry, especially late at night if dinner is at 5 or 6 p.m. And so the question that came in was about ordering food outside of just the dining hall. So students may order food if they'd like, especially for that hour personal time. That's their time to kind of hang out. And pizza, Domino's loves us because the students love Domino's pizza for some reason. However, we do ask that all food be ordered before room check. So we don't want students running around at 10:30 trying to find their food order. We want to make sure that everyone's in their room safe and secure. We will have staff posted at the delivery location, which is usually like a roundabout in both locations on the campus. So we'll have staff posted there. And then we'll have staff posted during the personal time in different locations. So should a student have ordered food or need to run and get it, again, they'll travel with a buddy to the location, meet our staff member, so our staff member can ensure that the handoff is smooth and good to go, and these students aren't just meeting some random car for their food delivery. So we do want to make sure that students work with our staff in the event that they have to interact with anyone outside of the program. The travel requirements for underage students vary by airline. So I would recommend calling whatever airline you are thinking about booking the flight for and asking them if your scholar meets their requirement or is considered an unaccompanied minor. I can't give an exact answer because it depends on the airline. Students are assisted to the shuttles to get to the program. So there will be a designated meeting location at both airports where students will be directed to go usually at one of the baggage claims. And that's posted on the portal. And our staff member will be there. We'll bring the student to our designated shuttle, which is a coach bus, and then the coach bus will depart. There'll be a staff member on the coach bus. It'll arrive at site, and the staff member will hand the students off to our staff that are at the venue. So all the students need to do is get to that baggage claim location. right. Well, I thank you all for joining. I apologize if I did not answer your question. Please feel free to give us a call, and I'm assure you we will do our best to get that answered and get you taken care of. Thank you all for joining us. Have a great night, and I look forward to meeting you and your scholar this summer at one of our locations for the National Youth Leadership Forum Engineering Program. Have a good night. Take care.